Alrighty, y'all. Hello and welcome to a video about cars where, well, we learn a lot about different cars around the world. It's one of my favorite series. But we're going to be looking at kind of an intro into British car brands. I've been told to look at this by quite a few people, and we will dive more into specifics in here because that's what I usually do. I learn about whole brands or maybe a specific car more in depth, and I will do that in the future. Delved into some British motorsports just a little bit and rally and stuff, and let me tell you, I'm hooked. I really like it, and there's definitely more to come with that as well. This will be linked down below. This is from Car Brands, the channel, literally. And it will be linked there. You can check out this whole video and, of course, browse their channel. So let's take a look at this and perhaps do a little more research. The only brands I can think of off my head that are, like, I'm very confident that are British are probably, like, I think Aston Martin, definitely. Bentley and Jaguar. I think those are definitely British. But let's see. Or I guess Land Rover as well. That comes to mind. I've been told there's more than I probably think, and I would have to agree. Let's take a look. Okay, so Bentley. Did I say them? I can't remember. Bentley, definitely British. Awesome cars, by the way. Rolls-Royce. Yes. Now, that's one I probably... I don't know when I would have known that, but yes, I'm pretty sure I knew that was British, but I don't think of them right off the bat. It's not necessarily a car you see every day, at least here in the U.S., unless you're in a really rich area. So that's really cool. Lagonda. Whoa. Now, what is that? That thing looks insane. What the hell is Lagonda? Cool logo, too. Okay, we're going to have to learn about that. That's British? I've never even heard of that brand. Land Rover for sure. Let me turn this down. Okay, very cool. I'm learning about them recently. I will have videos linked to them if you missed them. These are surprisingly really good off-road. And I knew like old Land Rovers were, but I'm talking about actual like luxury Range Rovers with like these thin tires and stuff. Even these are actually really capable off-road. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. Jaguar, of course. Okay, I had that right. Really awesome car company from what I know. Mini, of course. How could I forget Mini Cooper? Or they're just called Mini now, right? I guess the Cooper would be like the car. Is that right? The brand isn't Mini Cooper, it's just Mini. Okay, cool. Aston Martin, love them. I think these are literally some of the most gorgeous cars in the universe, I do have to say. McLaren, I forgot about McLaren. They're British. Lotus, too. Ooh, okay, so there's some awesome sports cars coming out. Coming from the British Morgan. What the hell's a Morgan? Cool logo as well. A lot of logos with like wings and stuff. It's kind of interesting. That's a really cool looking car. Is this new? Or is it old? Because this looks like an old car with those cool like swoopy lines like that. But it almost looks new like when I look at the wheels and the seats. Interesting. Noble. Never heard of that. Okay. Arash? Never heard of that either. Ascari. What? What is that? TVR. What are these cars? Ginetta? Okay. These sound really fascinating, and I don't know anything about these. Lister. That almost looks like a Jaguar. I am so confused. Well, this is good. We're learning. I am definitely learning. Xenos. Never heard of that either. AC I have heard of just because everyone in America seems to love the classic Shelby Cobra, which in reality is actually based off of and thanks to the AC Cobra, correct? Is that fair to say? I think that's the right terminology. Anyway, yeah, this was like the original car, and I think Shelby just, modified it, right? But yeah, that's actually a British sports car if you really think about it. So that's kind of cool. That's awesome. Atlanta Motors? Or no, that's not Atlanta. What is that? Atalanta? Weird looking vehicle. Never heard of it. And again, this looks super old, but it says 2011 to present. So unless that's a typo, what the heck? BAC or Bach. Looks like a race car. Suffolk sports car. What is this? Ronart or Ronart? Cool looking car. Don't know anything about it. Ultima. I think I've heard of Ultima in maybe like a video game, although I couldn't tell anything about it, like a real car. I feel like the one I know looks more like this silhouette, like with those kind of weird headlights. So that's a cool car. I didn't know that was British. Wow. And I don't know anything about the car, honestly. I just know of it. Gardner Douglas. Okay, those are cool. Kind of Cobra-esque. Brooke? What the heck? Marlin? Ooh. Elemental. Caparo. Now, I've heard of Caparo through Top Gear back in the day. I think the Caparo, like, was it the Caparo F1 or Caparo T1 or D1, something? I can't remember. One of those letters. It was like a really fast car that was somehow kind of street legal, but it was like a open wheel race car almost. Caparo, that's got to be them. So I don't know much about it, but I know they make some fast stuff. I did not know they were British either. Some really insane sports cars then are coming from Britain. I usually think of really crazy, of course I'm all into American cars always, right? That's what I'm born and raised with. But when I think of like really exotic, fast, powerful cars, of course, like I guess a go-to easy would be like, behind me, like Audi, Mercedes, BMW, Germany, right? Germany, of course, makes some awesome cars. These British cars look insane. It's a pleasant surprise. Like, these are very exotic. Italy would be another one. Of course, Ferrari. I guess if we're talking exotic, I guess Italy would be a better choice for, like, stereotype, right? Lamborghini, Ferrari. That makes sense. But, yeah, these are a pleasant surprise. Caterham. Really cool cars. I've seen those in games as well. Westfield, kind of a similar vibe. Like little sports cars. Alva. Never heard of them. MEV or MEV. That's a cool logo. MK Sports Cars. Vauxhall. Now, Vauxhall, I don't know about. This is on my list to do a whole standalone episode on. I've been told by dozens at this point to learn about Vauxhall. I believe they were related to General Motors here, right? So some of their models are like similar to like certain Opels from Germany. Some of their models are even similar to some Holdens from Australia. And then, of course, some of their models are similar to, random Chevys or Buicks or Pontiacs or whatever from the U.S. So I'm definitely interested in learning about Vauxhall. Cool logo. And they're on my list. MG, I've heard of them. Although the only MGs I think of for some reason from my American perspective is not this. This is like an actual modern SUV with the MG logo. That's funny. The only MGs I've ever seen in my life have been a handful over the years at car shows in the U.S. And they were like really small sports cars from, I think, like the 60s or something. I've never seen a modern MG. I didn't even know they made cars still, honestly. That's funny. Ariel Atom, I've heard of that one. That's a badass machine. I didn't know that was British. David Brown. Wow, that's cool. Keating Supercars. What? Oh, is this who makes the London Taxi? LEVC? Dude, these are so cool, by the way. I'm not an expert on these either, but of course I do know about these because I think these are kind of world famous, you could say. You see these in tons of media and shows and pictures and movies, whatever, right? These are super freaking cool, and I'm famous for liking weird cars or even like, government, police vehicles or fleet vehicles, and this is a fleet vehicle. I would love one of these just to have. Imagine having this in the U.S. That would be hilarious. For no reason, I want one of these. That's really cool. I guess I could say, of course, I knew that was British. I mean, come on, that's an icon. Grinnell Specialist Cars. Interesting. ProDrive. That's a wicked vehicle. That looks like something out of like an old video game. Very interesting. Radical. Oh, yeah, they make like race cars. They're British? Ooh, what is this? Hello. Look at this thing. Now, of course, I equally love trucks, SUVs, any off-road, awesome vehicle. This gives me some off-road vibes for sure. Okay, gonna have to look into that one. JBA Motors. More winged logos, by the way. So cool, though. Axon or Axon. What is that little fella? I'm pretty sure we don't have these in the U.S. Actually, a lot of these we don't have. I'm very sure of it. Wow, that is funny. Bristol. That's a cool car. Arrival. That looks like an EV. Wow, what a list. So way bigger than I thought. Way more brands. And I think it's safe to say I probably knew only about 10 to 20% of those. I did, I either knew them or got reminded of like the mainstream brands that I guess you would expect someone to know, not from there. Like, Bentley, Rolls-Royce, Aston Martin, Mini, Jaguar, things like that, Land Rover. Those are the superstars of the group, I guess you could argue. And I definitely know about those. Wow, some pleasant surprises there. Lots of brands I didn't know. And really awesome cars. I guess this is something I will really have to create a series around, because I'm seeing beautiful like craftsmanship. Of course, we know this from like Bentley and Rolls-Royce. Like the cars are just beautiful, right? Aston Martin as well. Whenever I see, and it's rare, it's only like, I feel like a few times a year I see Aston Martins out on the road here, at least where I am in Illinois, and they are just gorgeous. They're literally gorgeous. I always said, I think for, at least when you're looking at like an Aston Martin Vanquish or an Aston Martin DB9 even, from, what is that? What are those, like a decade or more old now? The essence of like a two-door coupe. Like they are literally the most beautiful two-door, touring sports car that I've ever seen. They're just absolutely works of art. They're gorgeous, right? Every detail about them. They have an amazing stance, body lines. I love how the doors kind of open up. They're not normal doors and they're not gull wing doors. They're kind of in the middle. They open up like wings, almost like at an angle. They're just so cool. So I guess what I'm gathering, actually thinking about it, is that British cars are really freaking awesome. That's what I'm gathering. And it goes a lot deeper than I thought, because there's so many brands here I didn't even recognize. And some of them looked really fast. Some of them looked really exotic. And this is definitely sparking my interest. So like reviewing some of these, like TVR, I've gotten that brand requested before and I knew nothing about it. So I'm definitely going to have to expedite some requests I got for that, because this is looking hella interesting. Very like retro logo I like. And I mean, look at that thing. It looks awesome. I think that's going to be a brand I'm very interested in. I feel like I've seen Janetta maybe in like racing sims before, but I've never messed with them. I don't know anything about them. And like a Marlin, Elemental, like there's so many different brands I've never even heard of. So I'm assuming a lot of these we don't get in the U.S., which wouldn't be a surprise. There's tons of awesome vehicles that we miss out on here. Well, that was really fun. That got my mind turning for sure. This was kind of a quick and easy one, but a good look at British brands that are way more extensive than I ever could have thought. I love it, guys. This is what I'm all about. So keep up your awesome suggestions, and I have a lot of learning to do. That excites me as a lifelong car guy, to learn about more cars that somehow I didn't know about. Yeah, sign me up. I appreciate you watching. That's going to be it for this one. That's all I got for you. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all, stay safe out there. I'll catch you later.